Alright, so before I get to it, I'm gonna watch the video live one more time to make sure that what I think happened actually happened. The dude's walking towards the car for some reason. I don't know why he's walking towards his car. I think the people in the helicopter think it's time for them to use a taser. I'm talking about he looks like a bad dude who might be on something. And he's shot. And he's on the ground. They think he, they think he's tasered. And he's shot. He's down. And that wasn't a taser. That was a gun. Wow. So this was video that shows the shooting of an unarmed Oklahoma man, Terence Crutcher. Terence Crutcher was his name. Well, is his name. Even in death, you still have a name. So I give that. So Terence Crutcher, shot dead, broad daylight basically, unarmed, walking to his car. Before I get to what happened, I quickly just want to talk about this never-ending circle of life that I'm seeing here. And it's bothering the fuck out of me because I just woke up and I was tagged in someone's Instagram post and it's like, check this out. I'm not sure which one it was. It might have been here we go again or check this out or can you believe it? Something like that. And it brought me to this video and I woke up, saw it, and I just kind of started thinking that this is going to be an endless circle. And it's always going to happen. And let me tell you what I mean by happen. Now, first off, police killing, unfortunately, American police killing people who don't have a weapon is nothing new. It's nothing new. And I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. It's not. Because American police have freedom to use their weapons in a real reckless manner. Because of certain things in America, such as the government not really giving a shit, for one. But two, we do have a lot of people with guns, a lot of armed citizens, and a lot of these states in which these people get killed, the police feel, they most likely have a gun. That's a reason. We also have a lot of people being killed because it's actually, I think in America, not only do we kill each other a lot, but we also kill a lot of police officers compared to other countries. Now, I'm not defending what they did. I'm just saying this will be a common occurrence. Now, I'm not talking about black. I'm not talking about white. I'm talking about in general. This will happen often. A questionable murder. And I mean, I honestly think it's relatively simple to not solve this problem, but to bring it down. Like to bring it down 80% fold, to bring it down, I think is relatively simple. But maybe there's something I don't know. You know what I mean? I think it's relatively simple. For example, look. Even the people in the helicopter were saying they think it's time for a taser. They think it's time for a taser. But she didn't use a taser. The female officer who shot him used her gun. She didn't use a taser. They could have easily used a taser to get this man. But at the same time, you guys know what police officers are like when they chase your ass. I don't know if they were chasing him prior to this. I don't know. From the video, I can't tell. But it looked like he was just walking away from them and walking towards a vehicle. I don't know if they were chasing him or not, but when you get chased by the police, they're going to pull out guns. You know that. When they get you, they're pulling out their guns. Everybody knows that. Now, it doesn't mean they can't shoot at you when you're unarmed. I get it, because you know what people are going to say. They're going to say, he wasn't following commands, he was walking away. Well, just because you don't follow a certain command doesn't give somebody the right to murder you. Or kill you or shoot you, however you want to put it. No, it definitely doesn't. And this is just going to be an endless circle, people, because no matter what, black people will always look at it as racially involved. That's one thing. Even when there's black officers involved, it was still race-related. I remember, which killing was that? Where it was black officers involved, and like it was still race related. I was like, then they were just saying things like, those black officers work with their white masters and stuff, so they do what they tell them to do. It was still race related. And I can't blame black people and say they're stupid for that, because I understand where they're coming from. But when I look at these things, I try to look at it from a perspective in which, as if I don't have a race. When I look at these things, I just look at it. Now I can tell you this: if there is, and you can check the stats on this if you'd like. If there is some kind of imbalance with the amount of unarmed black people killed by police, and then it doesn't match like the criminal statistics of blacks. So, for example, let's say, let's say 10% of blacks, 10% of blacks commit armed robbery. So, when you're committing armed robbery, that raises your chance of, running into the police. Like 10% of black people commit violent acts with guns, right? 10% of black people. Or, 10% of black people. 10% of any violent act with a gun is committed by black people in this country. The example, 10%. I know it's more than that, but let's just say 10% of the violent acts in this country with a gun are committed by black people, the violent crimes, right? So in that case, you would think 10% of police killings or unarmed killings of people, 10% of them, or about 10% of them, should be black, because about 10% of the times in which police run into somebody suspected or committing a violent act, especially with a gun, or suspected to have a gun, they should be black, generally saying. But if 45% of them being killed are black, and only 10% of this country's armed robbery or suspected armed robberies or any sort of violent acts are black people, then that's 4 times more than it should be. So when you look at these things, when you look at these unarmed killings or police-involved shootings, whatever it is, if you want to involve race, you have to look at the statistics, but not the statistics of the amount of blacks or the amount of whites. That's not what's important here. What's important here is how often do blacks commit crimes, or so-called commit crimes, that are violent and with a gun or suspected of having a gun. So the more often blacks do that, the more likely they are to run into these officers. You understand? So it's not just a pure numbers thing. It's actually a criminal's numbers thing. So if black people are literally half the violent crime, then unfortunately about half of these police-involved shootings, statistically, it would make sense if it's with black people, if half the crime in the country, violent crime, is with black people. So in that case, logically, and I can make the argument, or anyone can make the argument, that there's no evidence that these are race-related. It relates to the amount of crime in the country. Now, I'm not saying just because black people commit crimes, I'm saying that they should be killed. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, what would you expect if half the violent encounters with police officers or half the violent crime in the country are from black people? If half of them are from black people, what do you expect? What do you expect when it comes to running into police and having violent clashes? It only makes sense that half of them are black people. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I'm not making a defense for what this lady did. I'm not making a defense. The reason why it looks like this is always black people, or 90% of the time black people, is because of the media. It's because of what the media is deciding to show you. It's the media. It's what the media is deciding to show you. That's all it is. It's just what they're deciding to show you. Either way, yes, the police officer committed a crime. She deserves to go to prison, whatever. But, like I said, another big-ass problem we have in this country is that police officers aren't properly punished at all. They're not properly punished at all. They kill somebody, they lose their job, or they get suspended for 2 weeks. They kill somebody for no good reason. Police in America, they don't act like superheroes on average. And this isn't about race here. I'm not making this about race, because this happens to white people too. This happens to Asian, I don't know about Asian people, let me not say that. This happens to white people too, often, but it's not spoken about. It's not spoken about. The only videos they're going to talk about from white people are the videos in which the white people don't get shot. When the white people are whipping guns and they don't get shot. That's going to be on the news. That's going to be spoken about because it grabs attention. See, this ain't fair. A white guy doesn't get shot. A black guy gets shot. They're just playing with you. It's like, come on. Let's say, for example, it's like this. I could say, I know a kid, he's perfect. He's the best three-point shooter ever. You know, he's just perfect at three-point shooting, right? Let's say this guy, you don't know this, but let's say this guy takes 23-point attempts. He makes 10. So what if I just chop it up and say, look, he made 10 of 10. He's perfect. You're going to believe he's perfect? You're going to believe that's how it is? It's just what I'm choosing to show you. And that's how the media works here. And it's just crazy. It's crazy. But either way, man, look, all I'm saying by this before I go is that I think this is messed up, but there's more we don't know. We don't know if there's a chase beforehand or whatnot. You know, dude is walking through a vehicle. A taser, I believe every police force should have tasers. That'd be great. Body cameras as well. There'll be much less killings if they have tasers and body cameras. A lot of these violent clashes will happen more often to black people, not simply or so much so because of the so-called racism, but mostly because we do commit a lot of the violent crime in this country, so we're likely to run into police officers. But even with that, when police officers break protocol and murder an unarmed person without a good reason, that should be prison time. There should be punishments. Police officers should go to prison just like everybody else. When they do something they're not supposed to do, and they should go to prison even longer because they have a badge. And we trust them. They work for us. We don't work for them. You feel me? And that's really it, man. This kind of fucked up. But all I want to say to you guys at the end of the day is just follow the fucking directions when you're dealing with police. Like I always say, just please follow directions. Put your hands up on the floor. You can fight later. There's no point of fighting in the moment. You're going to lose. Unless you have a tank, you know, you're going to lose for the moment. Just follow the orders, man. And I'm out. Later.